Hey up my droogs, it's Sam from Gemini and welcome back to a new video. Today we're going to be talking about challenging your martial arts instructor to a spar. Booyah! Okay, welcome back to the channel and to a new video. And today we're going to be talking about whether it's okay for you as a student to challenge your martial arts instructor to a spar. So we're talking spar, we're not talking fight, and I've explained this in numerous videos before. There is a difference between a spar and a fight. Sparring is when you work with your partner for you to learn skills, for you to test your skills, for you to test yourself. It's also an opportunity for your partner to test themselves as well. But the important thing is that you're working together, so you're not trying to outdo each other. You're not trying to cause harm onto each other. You're working together to find your own strengths, your own weaknesses, and to work collaboratively to actually point those out in a constructive way to make each other better. A fight, au contraire, is where you actually intend to do actual harm onto somebody. Now, a fight could be something like in a competition. A fight could very well be out on the street. Even then, you have to take things into consideration, but the main emphasis is on neutralizing your opponent. And when you're in a fight, you're not actually working with a partner, you're actually working against somebody. You're not obviously going to have a fight with somebody on the street and tell them all the things they're doing wrong, hoping for them to correct themselves in that fight to be able to beat you up. No. So sparring and fighting, two different things. Both use violence to achieve their end games, but their end games in themselves are different. So that being said, we're talking about sparring your martial arts instructor today. So we're not talking fights, we're talking sparring. So as a student, is it okay to ask your instructor to spar with you, or if you could spar your instructor? Some schools of thought say no, that is a complete sign of disrespect, that is a sign of arrogance, it's a sign of cockiness, and it's just not the done paradigm of martial arts practice. You don't go up to your instructor and request to spar with them. You always wait for your instructor to say, I'll pay you up against somebody to spar against them. You will often quite rotate sparring partners you have in your school. And then and only then, if your instructor then so chooses or deems it necessary or indeed appropriate for the format of a lesson or in terms of your student personal development, then he may agree to actually spar with you. However, some schools of thought, and I'm personally in this school of thought, I think it's absolutely fine to actually spar and roll with your instructor. At the end of the day, my reasons for this being that your instructor is the one who's primarily coaching you. Your main instructor will, especially in a traditional martial arts format, you'll have like the head instructor, sensei, or Kwanjang Nim, school owner, if you're taking from a Korean concept. And they will mainly be the one who's responsible for your tuition. They will mostly teach you the techniques. They are mostly going to be teaching you the sparring, the strategies, the techniques, the counters, etc. So it is the instructor, the sensei, who's responsible for your development. And with that being said, I think there's nothing wrong with you then rolling and sparring with your sensei or your instructor, because it allows perfectly you to see what your instructor is teaching you works, but it's also allowing the instructor to then say, what am I teaching my students? Is that working? Am I teaching right things as an instructor to my students? So far from being disrespectful, far from being somewhat detrimental to the tried and tested dogma of martial arts traditional practice, I think sparring your instructor is a perfect opportunity to actually test your skills, to test your knowledge, test your abilities with the one who's teaching you. I personally have no gripes with sparring my students over the years. As a matter of fact, when I first started teaching professionally, I would regularly get involved in the sparring sessions myself, and I'd actually switch myself around so I'm sparring with every single student who walked through my door. For those very reasons, I can then work on those individual weaknesses of each student, because everybody's human, we all have weaknesses. But it allows me as an instructor to say, okay, for the last few weeks, I've been teaching these tactics, I've been teaching these techniques and strategies. Let's now see them in play. Let's see if my students are actually using them. Are they using them and they're working? Great, I've done my job as an instructor. Are they using them but they're not working? okay, maybe that particular student's specific needs and circumstances and biomechanics might be a little bit different from the blanket generalization. So let's take that situation away. Let's take that person out of that situation and now person center that training into something else to work on them. Either way, it's a perfect opportunity for you as an instructor to see where the holes are in your approach, where the pros are in your approach. And as a student, it gives you an excellent opportunity to use the skills which have been handed down to you by your coach and instructor to use against them to see if what you're being teaching or what you're being taught works. Now, upon saying that, I do believe that actually requesting to spar your instructor should still be done in a respectful way. If you went up to your instructor and just said, "Oi, fight me," then no, that's not respectful, and most people would probably agree that that isn't appropriate. However, if you were to approach your instructor and respectfully request sparring, just saying, as an example, "Sir, would you mind on this occasion if I could have the honour to spar you?" And I did this when I first started getting into karate. I went to these summer camps, and there was this instructor there who was phenomenal. He specialised in groundwork. He had a very solid stand-up style as well. I learned a lot from him. And I remember actually one occasion we sparred for a few hours against different people, and we finished a spar and we have to find new partners. And I saw this particular instructor was standing around with no partner, and he was looking around for somebody. And I went up to him, bowed, and said, "Sensei, would you mind if I actually had the honour to spar with you?" And I said it respectfully, and I genuinely meant it. I wasn't trying to think, "Oh yeah, I can roll with this guy." I genuinely meant it, because I looked at him and thought, this guy could probably kick the living dog poo out of me. But that didn't matter to me, because I wasn't there to kind of basically kick his ass or have him kick my ass. I wanted to spar with him because I wanted to learn. I wanted to actually be able to learn from his approach, learn from his techniques, and it would have been an honour to do so, because he was a very stand-up guy. No pun intended. But I knew that if I actually sparred with him, I would come away with new knowledge. I would come away with new abilities. And I looked at him and thought, it's just a positive game for me. And also, hopefully, he'd be able to learn from my experiences as well. So again, provided that you request it politely, not arrogantly, and you explain yourself. Just say, I'd like to take this opportunity to learn from you. It will be an honour to spar against you as a student to an instructor. And if there's no ego involved, there's no malice, there's no ulterior motive. If you're doing it with good, honest intentions to learn, I don't think there should be an issue with students sparring their instructors. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think, because like I said, there's always different schools of thought on this topic. Some consider it controversial, I consider it common sense. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments in that section down below. That is what it's there for. Please spam it. Like, dislike, subscribe if you like my channel and you like what I'm doing. In the meantime, guys, stay safe, train hard, keep listening to Buddha's Dream, because they're the best band around, and I'll see you all in the next video. Booyah!